You're listening to His Empire of Dirt by pearlandpine. Chapter 28. Michael Afton begins a bucket list. After Henry's mood was considerably lifted, both by being home and by Bella, William informed him of the situation. "Oh," Henry had said, adjusting his glasses. He had huffed. "Oh. I apologize if..." "No. We ought to have told them. I mean, I would have liked to do it at the same time, but then there probably would have been a double homicide. So I guess it's good that we do it separately." "Good. Good. I am glad you agree." William rubs his scars over his sleeve and sighs. "Henry, could we go into your bedroom? I need to have a private word with you." Henry's eyebrows lift, but he smiles, because he always smiles, especially at William, and they go into the bedroom, and William's eyes sadden as he makes eye contact with Mike, and he shuts the door, and of course, Mike eavesdrops. "Henry, I am not..." He gulps and shuffles his weight, like perhaps he's reclining onto the bed. "I'm not well." "What's the matter? Did you have another episode?" No, nothing of the sort. The problem lies in the fact that I will have another episode. And Henry, I do not feel natural things about myself, about the world, about you all, about me? Yeah, you too. Everything but you two. Oh. Did I do something wrong? You've never done anything wrong in your entire life. You're wonderful. But, Henry, as much as you tell me that I'm good, I am a bad person. I bloody cheated on a girl for months. I shot a deer with a smile on my face. Henry, I want to hurt people. And I love you. All of you. But I can't fucking live like this anymore. I can't. I can't. Hey, it's okay, Will. It's okay. It is not okay. I'm trying to be a good person. I finally remembered the promise I made to my first friend. My only friend. And I've got to be decent. But I can't be decent the way I am. Henry, I want to do vile things. And I can't see you anymore. Henry, you're still my love. But I'm not good enough for you. Stop. Don't say that. You don't get to say that. You don't know my fucking brain, Henry. I could, if you let me. Then you would have a valid reason to be scared of me. It is separate from my sickness, Hen. It's something entirely separate. Fritz understands, but you're too good. He gulps. Do you want me to move out? No, please. I still want you. I still need you. But But not now, Henry. Not while I'm unwell. I am sorry. I love you still, Will. I'm sorry for anything I did. It's not you. It's my head. It's nothing but my bastard brain. When I get well. When I stop writing such horrid things. I am going to. It's more than that, though, Will. We both need families. And you can't love me. Not in a world like this. I can, and I will. I will whisper love to you where no one but you can hear. Because you are the only person that must hear those words, yeah? We can have families, and you'll have me. I'm sorry, I think I need to smoke. Do it here. I understand. It's good for you to not be in a relationship that makes you feel bad. It makes me feel good. It's my head, and just my head. We can't see each other any longer. Henry, I am sorry. I don't want you to get hurt. I cannot have you getting hurt on my account. You wouldn't hurt me, Will. William laughs pitifully. I don't know if I know how to do anything else. Mike listens to his friend light his cigarette, and the scent of smoke lingers beneath the door, and Mike is still holding onto Will's journal, so he nonchalantly flips to the most recent page. November 23rd, 1956. Wait. Didn't wait today. Am I a bad person? I don't wish to be. But at the same time, everything I want, everything I think, is horrid. Everything. Everything except for my friends. Do I really deserve to be happy? Fritz, Bella says over the phone, we've got to do something. Clara's being entirely miserable. Yeah, it's just about death over here, Mike agrees. It's been a couple of days since everything between Henry, Clara, and William has gone down. Henry and William entirely stay in their rooms, so Mike brings them leftovers from the diner to sustain themselves. William soundlessly tinkers on the floor as he accepts food from Mike, saying, my heart hurts, and it's not bloody empathy this time. And Henry takes the food and picks at it, saying, I feel like I could be doing more to help him. And Mike huffs, pacing about the apartment like a disgruntled father as two of his kids go through their first breakup. Well, what have you been feeling, Bella? You can hear her shrug over the phone. Fritz, I'm dying. I feel like if one of you non-fatally shot me, I'd just about shrug it off. They're all real gone with each other, I guess. William's such a whore, isn't he? Mike sharply laughs before covering it up with his shoulder. Anyway, of course I was mad, but I don't want to spend time being mad. Henry's got a soft soul. He'd never want to hurt anyone. He probably hurt himself more. And selfishly, Fritz, I just want to get married and have a kid before I croak. Henry wants a family. I want to live. And I can't do that because everyone I give a crap about is utterly miserable. I'm glad you're doing well, at least. What can we do, Bella? I've got an idea. Do you think they'll kill each other in the same room? I wouldn't let them. Good. I'm using the dying girl card. We'll be there in 20. She hangs up the phone, and Mike listens to the ringing of the receiver, dreading returning to the apartment where the two broken boys reside. Bella drums her fingers against her lap and presents a paper to the group. Mike folds his arms across his chest, waiting for an argument to ensue. William is sitting in the middle of the couch, Clara a bit closer to him, and Henry backing away, like they're all unsure of the dynamic that there should be between the three. If you three don't smile, I'm going to an even earlier grave. Isabella, Henry laments, but William and Clara chuckle a bit. Okay, well, first we're establishing what the hell is going on with you lot. Bella gestures an open palm to the trio. Like, has William being a slut completely ruined this dynamic? I'm not a slut, William retorts, and the four other denizens of the apartment cough into their shoulders. So he scoffs and crosses his arms across his chest. You're all just prudes. Then, after laughter threatens the lot of them, seriousness dawns once more. He's my boyfriend, Clara says, and Henry's your boyfriend, and Fritz is perpetually single. Thanks, Mike deadpans, and William and Bella snicker. Anyway, we don't care about you both being queer. We're not bigots, like that bastard McCarthy. But you're both liars. But I think we all agree that we despise being miserable. I see you both really care for each other. And I'd fucking murder anyone that attacked you for being queer. My knight in shining armor, William quips, and Clara jabs her elbow onto his side, and he winces and lightly swats her hand away. We'll have to talk about it. But I don't want you to be miserable. I don't want to be miserable, Clara sighs. We'll talk about it. We'll be the most progressive bastards of the 50s, I suppose, but we'll talk about it. Once William feels better. It'll be okay. She shakily smiles. This is fucking ridiculous. Mike also thinks the entire situation is utterly insane, hearing his mom and dad discuss their relationship with their friends, and especially William and Henry's relationship. It's not just the most progressive dynamic of the 50s, but every damn decade after that. But Mike supposes, whatever makes them happy. But yeah, overall this is ridiculous. Fantastic, Bella beams, and bounces from her toes to her heels, and she reads from the paper. Isabella Barnett's bucket list. Okay, so I literally only wrote one thing because I panicked and made this super quick, but right here I have win big in Vegas. Well, none of us are 21, Henry begins, but William leaps to his feet, rushes to his room, and returns with a small box. He reaches into it and tosses a card to each of his friends. Well, what the hell did you do? I've made us all fake IDs, thank you very much. We're saving it for Christmas, so thank you, Miss Dying Girl, for ruining the surprise. Oh, gladly, Bella says, holding her ID up to the light. It's only what, a 6-hour drive? What do you all say? We're going, Mike declares, before anyone can refute the idea, because the group needs a win, if he's being entirely honest, and he can't help it, but he thinks that William Afton, at least here, at least now, at least decent, does indeed deserve the right to be happy. shit. He kinda hates that he thinks that, to be honest. But he supposes that means his grand scheme is working. Mike and Henry take turns driving, because Clara, Bella, and William are all taking turns getting high, leading to William being marginally less intolerable for the drive. I spy. Bella squints out the window dramatically, before laughing raucously.
Something purple and whorish.
Stop! William bemoans, and he punches her on the shoulder and accidentally bruises her. And he's about to apologize, but Bella starts bursting out laughing. And then Clara demands more snacks from the responsible adults in the front. I spy something blue-eyed and decaying.
Oh, fuck you, Afton,
Bella retorts, and she kicks him, and Clara wrenches the two apart. You both are going to drive me mad, she says, coughing as she exhales smoke. And then she kisses William on the cheek, and then Bella on the cheek. And then she smiles fondly at Mike and Henry, and says, I spy someone single and sober. What are you attacking me for? Mike laments. And sad, William adds with a chuckle.
And a lightweight,
Bella says. I am not a lightweight. A bit of a lightweight, Henry says, and then he chuckles and adds, and that's coming from me.
A 6'1" lightweight,
Bella says, laughing. Lord Fritz, how much longer until we're there? Mike looks at the road map, missing his smartphone, and then the mile marker on the highway. 3 hours, bud. Henry rests his head against his seat and groans, mercifully turning up the radio. And it's Elvis, so then Mike groans, because he is sick of the hip-gyrating bastard. And he starts humming a song, realizing too late that it's a song from the future. What's that, Fritz? It's this small band I listen to back home, named, Pink Floyd. Ridiculous name, William snorts, and he passes a brownie from Bella to Clara.
Says purple guy.
Who the hell is purple guy? William demands of Bella, and Clara starts laughing. You do dress like a fucking cartoon character, dear, she says, tugging at his lavender shirt. Some people call you that around campus. It's a wonderful colour, he retorts, clearly offended. The best, I'd say. Yes, dear, Clara replies, and Henry raises the volume to fight off William being belligerent with his brand and aesthetic being assaulted. Mike smiles, and thinks he's gotten a second-hand high. And if he closes his eyes and rears enough of an imagination, he can imagine that this has been his life. He never lived with the monster, and he never killed his brother. He was always just loved, just high, just living. Mike's never been in a casino before, and it's well past midnight by the time they arrive in Vegas. The lights and the sounds don't particularly suit him, but he's not alone, so he's able to swallow down his discomfort and pretend that he's the most extroverted bastard alive. They enter a place completely indiscernible from the other casinos around it, as they're all named something like Golden Royale or Golden Swan or Night Royale or some combination of the adjective from The Element and the subtitle of that James Bond film. Mike squints through the lights as Bella leads them through the doors. The security in the front having checked their IDs, and William looks absurdly proud of himself for his concoctions when the large man does not even bother checking over things twice, for they are so accurate. Where are we off to first? Bella asks. Well, statistically, if you want to win big, you ought to not play slots, William says. Oi, who's good at poker? Clara raises her hand, and William applauds. Goes to poker? I'm to blackjack. Henry? Fritz? Pure moral support, Mike says, and Henry eagerly nods to support the sentiment. Entirely boring, you lot, William replies, and a lot of them get their chips. First, they watch several men ogle both Bella and Clara as they sit at the table, so both Henry and William clear their throats at the same time, But it is Bella who wins and demonstrates her priority over the table. She doesn't make much money, but she smiles like she's demolishing the patriarchy, and Henry excitedly tussles Bella's hair and kisses her atop her head. They take her winnings and go to the blackjack table. William takes a seat, the rest of them crowded around him. He doesn't even look at his cards as he knocks on the table, and the several other men at the table either scoff and toss their cards in, or grin amusedly to themselves and gesture for another card to be slid their way. William finally glances at his cards, and when it remains that there are just 2 of them left, he winks at the man and folds them over. A perfect 21. Several rounds later, a crowd has been drawn to the table, watching the boy that is definitely not of age destroy several experienced gamblers at the table. It's after he wins a large jackpot, upwards of dozens and dozens of chips, amounts of which Mike cannot discern, that one of the players, after a few too many drinks, jabs a finger at William's direction.
"You're fucking counting the cards!"
William scoffs, and several of the members of the crowd boo and jeer at the man.
"I've got no clue what you're on about." "You've been in for too many damn rounds,"
he retorts, and someone escorts him away from the seat. But now security is there, eyeing the game to see if the man is right. Mike leans in close to William's ear. "Are you?" William chuckles as a new hand is dealt to him, which means,
"Fucking of course I am. What are you, daft?"
Mike stifles a groan, his heart pounding as dozens and dozens of people have now flocked to the table. There's a new gambler in a suit, and he's older, a drink in his hand, looking obviously experienced compared to his younger competition. Without looking at his cards, he thrusts all of his chips forward. William shrugs.
"Suppose I'm all in,"
he says, and Henry and Mike groan into their palms, but Clara and Bella goad him forward with applause that he thrives on. William wins, against every statistical possibility, and the gambler groans, and the dealer folds his arms, and security is approaching, and they grab him on the shoulders and say, "You've been counting cards." To which William's eyes widen, and he innocently chuckles, trying to swat the hands away, and the drunken gambler from before returns and tries to throw a fist at him, and things devolve into chaos in less than a minute. Clara frantically reaches into her pocket, withdraws the lighter that she, Bella, and William had been using, grabs a napkin from a nearby table, lights it aflame while tossing it into a bin, and shrieks, "Fire! Fire!" The security is distracted, so Bella snatches all of the chips on the table and sprints away, Mike following in a mad dash after her. Henry trips over a few people, profusely apologizing. Security trying to put out the fire as Clara grabs William's hand, and they all rush towards the exit.
"Go, go, go!"
Bella rapidly says, and the 5 of them jump into the car. It stalls. Henry frantically turns the key over and over in the ignition, and just as security is about to descend on them, Henry peels out of the parking lot. William reaches his hand out to Mike, and it takes Mike a bit too long to realize that he's going for a high five. So Mike laughs a bit and slaps his friend's hand, recalling that he is indeed the inventor of the celebratory movement. William hollers and turns to Bella.
"How much did I make, dear?"
"Let me count." Her eyes widen. "Well, holy crap, this is like $10,000. I mean, we'll never be able to cash it. I doubt we'll be let back in again, but holy crap." Mike notices Clara frown at the idea of not being able to cash the money. And then he recalls that his own mother has to quit school to take care of her grandmother. And he wishes that they could go in there without security being all over them and walk out as thousandaires. Bella reaches into her pocket for her paper and pencil, and with a grin, at first hesitant, ultimately grateful, she crosses off the first and only article of information on her bucket list. "Gonna add anything else, Bella?" Clara asks. Bella shrugs, And then she looks up at Mike, and with a seriously sad and happy face, she scribbles something down, and she hands the paper to Mike for him to read. Isabella Barnett's bucket list. Win big in Vegas. Make it to graduation. Mike swallows and forces a smile. We'll get there, he says. And no one else in the car asks what the paper says. They know it's not for them, just for her. And she clutches it to her chest, smiling, trying not to cry. They rent a crappy motel room for the night. Clara examining every inch to make sure there aren't serial killers hiding in the closet. There aren't any, but, there technically is at least one in the room. Or rats under the mattresses. As the girls make the room tolerable, Mike eavesdrops on the last thing that William and Henry say to each other in private, in the hallway. I know you think you're a bad person, Will, Henry says, and he sounds happy despite it all. But I know you're not. You're going to get help for your head. Everything will be okay. When we can be healthy, we will be. I've got Bella. You've got Clara. I'm not letting you go. I'm going to fight for you, William Afton. I'm going to wait for you. And for your brain to catch up with your heart. I promise I will always be here for you, as your friend, and in the future as more, if you'll have me. Mike wishes that Will could cry. He knows his friend would be sobbing if he had the ability to. The boys walk into the motel room. Mike, being perpetually single, crashes on the couch, tossing one of the chips in the air. Now that no one is driving, William hands joints to everyone, including Henry. No, I don't. Henry eyes the thing. Fuck it. William's eyes widen so drastically that one would have thought that Henry said that Fritz's name is Mike Afton, and he's traveled back in time to kill his father. William goes around and does the duty of letting the end of every joint, and soon the room smells like skunk, and they discover that Henry Emily is very, very talkative when he's high. You know what's really funny? Henry says at one point, dangling his head off the couch. His eyes so bloodshot he doubts his friend can see. After the chuckling subsides, Henry whispers, "We all act so much older than we actually are." He says it with a smile, but after the syllables concretize themselves, he begins to frown, and the milieu in the room begins to dampen. Mike shuts his eyes, and before he can stop himself, he says, "I didn't think I'd make it this far." He's sleepy now. He's always been sleepy, even when he's sober. Always when he's high. Always. Always. And he can't seem to open his eyes, or want to open his eyes, or want to open his eyes, etc., etc. And he always feels weird in his body. This new body. This body that isn't decayed. This body that isn't piloted by metal. This body that isn't beaten. At least not yet. But his body feels warm. Because he doesn't know who it is, but someone takes their hand and wraps it around Mike's. And if Mike tries hard enough, he can imagine it's Jeremy, or Mom, or Evan, or Liz, or Charlotte, or Henry, or any of the people whose lives he... No, not he. That Dad ruined. And he can try to be nice to himself. Because really, he didn't think he'd make it this far. He never did. He never wanted to. Now, with whoever's hand wrapped around his, tight, warm, comforting, safely, he can pretend that his old life was the dream this entire time. That he is Fritz Smith, born 1938, waiter at Junior's, roommate to William Afton, not a killer, and Henry Emily, not suicidal. Friends to Isabella Barnett, alive, and Clara Caputo, alive. And nothing has ever gone wrong. Ever. But of course, that's not right. He's just high. "We'll live forever," William mutters, and then he falls asleep. Oh. His father had told him that before. In the garage. In the house. In his mania. But now the words are doting. Not mad. Never mad. Oh. Mike's not just high. I'm happy, he thinks. And he falls asleep.